A New Hope, Nier Chapter 40. Please share our videos. Thank you. After our fun little romp in the casino and the girls packed away a couple of the costumes for later fun times, as well as I myself managed to snag a couple of nice suits that fit me pretty decently, though I tried to keep the thought of wearing a dead man's clothes out of mind, I wasn't all too successful. We packed away the now dehydrated and smoked boar meat away, as it will be nice and well preserved. Isn't this supposed to be Nier? Why do I keep thinking this is supposed to be Monster Hunter? I couldn't help but think as the wildlife kept getting bigger and more dangerous looking as we kept flying west, and we had to go much slower, as ramming into a levitating rhino-looking monster that had glowing and shiny reflective metal skin would have been awful, as even the massive Yoarha swords used by the flight units took several swings to actually kill the monsters accompanying the air. Not to mention we had to avoid literal anti-air fire coming from massive spiders shooting massive nets stronger than any form of steel that would make us instantly crash into the air, and worse, even the beetles had mutated into cow-sized anti-air tanks that had converted their previous acid spit to act like a machine gun, sending balls of plasma into the sky to knock out their prey. Jake, we need to land and send the flight units back, as we are simply too big of a target within the air. 2B said, obviously stressed from leading our diamond formation with me in the middle supposedly to be safe, but that didn't mean much to the anti-air methods on the ground. I grunted in response and tilted down the controls, which sent me into a controlled dive towards the shadowy remains of the downtown part of a small town, with the state house not looking to be in too bad of a condition. Let's just stay here in the state house, it should be safe being made out of mostly marble, I ordered as soon as we landed, and the automatic systems within the flight units made the mini-mechs fly off straight into the sky, probably to be refueled and repaired at the Yoarha space station. A2 groaned as she hefted up one of the bags of supplies for me to live decently, as we have absolutely no idea what foods were edible and wouldn't turn me into stone or something with how the flora and fauna was mutated. How much further is Jake going to need to go before we hit those cleared out nests for him to excavate? A2 asked as we trekked into the pitch-dark state house. 9S, being the scout unit, had all our mission details, answered the exasperated A2. We are technically within the zone of the nests that Yoarha has cleared, but with all the wildlife that attacked us on the way, I assumed we should wait till we entered a less hot zone, she said, putting emphasis on trying to find a less hostile area. A2 surprisingly snorted. No, little scout. This is a pretty average reception, that's why Yoarha sends people straight from space to the targets and does not have them fly lower to the ground. She went on to say more, but a loud rustling and what sounded like something skidding across the smooth marble rang out of the large atrium we walked into, with only the pod spotlights giving me any light to frantically look around. The fuck was that? I asked, trying not to say fuck it and sleep outside in a tent. As the pods lit up the interior, I saw the walls and the pillars going up and down the large state house that looked to be covered in some red biomass. My only answer was all three pods seemed to notice something I and my androids didn't, and sent a solid high-power laser a couple of feet in front of me, and they collided with something invisible, making an explosion as 6E jerked me back from my collar to get me away from the now unveiled horse-sized spider. The spider, having been shot by all three of the pod's high-powered lasers, didn't move and was obviously dead, but we could all hear a flurry of skittering and sounds of things being knocked over as even more of the spiders came out of the little alcoves carved into the biomass-covered walls, making me want to simply dump all my mana into my fire magic and burn this fucking place to the ground. I blame Nines for bringing us come here, I said as violence erupted with the spider colony not even bothering with stealth and launching themselves at our party. Whereas the androids became a whirlwind of slashing blades and the pods laying suppressing fire with their machine gun lasers, I became the equivalent of a large bug zapper and had a ghetto lightning armor around me that fried any spider that got too close and allowed me to stake it with the lightning spear I made. It was a frantic battle that lasted not even a couple minutes, as it seemed that the spider colony had rushed us with all their members, and hint, burnt spiders do no smell like chicken. It smelled absolutely horrible. Why did you say this was my fault? Nines yelled at me after all the androids did their customary check that I didn't lose any limbs or otherwise had any boo-boos. I could only shrug as we heard more skittering coming from the deeper portions of the state house. I needed someone to blame, and I can only blame the scout for us walking into a trap. Now let's get out of here and I will just make a structure out of my magic or something, I said, dodging responsibility.